about it. So it's over to you, Karen Armstrong. Very petite, very lovely.
Thank you very much. We're from the International Wing Chun Academy in Goodger Street, and we're here this afternoon to present a really exciting martial art demonstration for you. The martial art that we'll be demonstrating, Wing Chun Kung Fu, is very different from the common idea of martial art. Basically, Wing Chun is really simple, direct and practical, and it's one of the most effective methods of self-defense. First of all, to start off the demonstration, we'll have some sparring. In the sparring, obviously Len and Gary have to pull their punches for safety. Notice the speed of their movements and the combination of hand and leg techniques. Thank you, Len and Gary. The next thing that we're going to demonstrate is Master Jim Fung will come on to demonstrate the principles of Wing Chun. Wing Chun is very different. It's simple, direct and practical. We don't use a lot of complicated or fancy movements. Actually, Master Jim Fung is one of the top-ranking Wing Chun masters in the whole world. First of all, he'll demonstrate the principle of directness. If somebody throws a punch to your face, instead of first blocking and then hitting back, in Wing Chun we counter-attack at the same time. Notice how he deflects and punches at the same time. Right, secondly is no use of brute strength. Most martial arts do rely a lot on size and strength. In Wing Chun, all the techniques are designed to work without the use of any brute strength. If someone throws a punch to the stomach, instead of using a hard blocking action which relies on a lot of strength, in Wing Chun we use a simple deflection of the wrist. Very simple movement to deflect a powerful punch. Finally, to illustrate the practicality of all these movements, in Wing Chun we don't waste time waving our arms and legs around. If somebody shapes up, you pounce on them straight away. With low heel kick, combination of punches and then a stamping kick. This is very compact, direct and practical. Okay, the next thing that Master Jim is going to demonstrate is the famous Wing Chun 1-inch punch. Now, a lot of the movements that you see us do are very fast and people can immediately realise the speed involved. However, it's hard for the audience to appreciate the power, because the one who really feels the power is the one who gets hit. And unfortunately, you know, it's hard to get that point across to people. However, we're going to demonstrate the 1-inch punch to show the power of Wing Chun, to show how a punch at very short range, that is 1 inch away from the target, can generate a lot of power. Now, the implication of this, the 1-inch punch being a demonstration technique only, is that your normal punch, the power is multiplied incredibly. Okay, thank you. As I mentioned, this is to show the short-range power. If you can do that much from 1 inch away, you can imagine what your normal punch, how powerful that's going to be. Okay, right, we'll move on now to a demonstration of self-defense showing a smaller person defending themselves against a larger attacker. Carol Brewer is going to demonstrate some simple self-defense techniques. First, against an arm grab. She does a kick followed by a punch. The next thing Carol's going to demonstrate is how to deflect a really powerful punch to the head. And then follows up with continuous punching. Thank you, Carol. I think at this point in time, everyone is really aware about the safety of children. And one point we would like to make is that Wing Chun is a really effective self-defense method for any person who cannot rely on brute strength. And obviously this means young children. Okay, now we want to have another demonstration of power now to show the power of the Wing Chun thrusting kick. Most of the kicking in Wing Chun is low or midsection kicking. This is is to show how a simple thrusting kick can generate a fair amount of power. The next thing is I'm going to give a demonstration of women's self-defense. For the same reason that Wing Chun is really suited to self-defense for children, or in fact any person, the same reason applies to any woman who wants to learn self-defense. It must be practical, simple, and not rely on brute strength. This is just showing a combination of various attack and defence movements. Okay, the final demonstration that we have for you today is Master Jim Fung demonstrating the Wing Chun pole fighting. The pole fighting, incidentally, pole is one of the most practical martial art weapons because, in fact, there is often some object resembling a pole, be it a chair, a broom, a pool cue or anything like that. So pole is actually a very useful weapon. Thank you, Master Jim.